society is how it treats its women and girls. The measure of any society is how it treats its women and girls.
We create
The smart, powerful, creative, accomplished young women.
We can fight.
I'm here because of you. I'm here because girls like you inspire me.
No man is big enough for
Many of these girls have faced unthinkable obstacles just to attend school.
Clutch your pearls and hide your children. It's another episode of Surly Voices here on WMNF Tampa 88.5. I am one of your hosts, Liz, and joining me in the studio is my other host, Amina.
Good morning. Good morning.
How are you doing this morning, Amina?
I'm good. I have a confession.
Oh?
I feel like it's time to share. It's stupid.
Do tell.
So you know our theme song in the beginning?
Yes.
I thought that the woman talking sounded like Donna. And I didn't know the song, so I really thought y'all went and made a soundtrack.
Yeah.
I said Donna really took this seriously. She took the assignment very seriously and made a whole theme song.
Oh,
anyway,
wow. Yeah.
thank you for the safe space to share. I hope she's listening.
Have you ever heard lyrics and you thought they said something else, and so you're singing the song,
All the time.
and then you find out what the lyrics are, and you're like, wait, what? No, my way was better.
For example, like the "Come On Eileen" song.
Yes,
I have made up my own lyrics to that because I don't think anybody knows what the song is.
it goes so fast. Yeah,
Yes.
I know what you're talking about. But yeah, I know there was a Lady Gaga song, and I was saying something, and one of my younger family members looks at me and like, "What are you saying?" And I'm like, and I told them, and they're like, "No, that's not what it says." And I'm like, "Oh, great! I'm that person now." I'm like the dude on the commercial where he trains adults not to be their parents.
I haven't seen that commercial, but sounds like we need that in real life.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's a great. I mean, you watch that commercial, and it really makes it kind of makes you cringe a bit because you're like, oh yeah, maybe I don't need so many pillows on my couch.
Oh, I need them. Absolutely, every single one.
You can give us a call at 813-239-9663. You can send us an email to dj@wmnf.org, or you can text us to 813-433-0885. And we're going to cover a range of topics today. For those of you who know our occasional co-host, Bianca Goolsby, Bianca will be calling in to spill that school board tea, and there is a lot of it. I mean, if you don't keep up with the goings-on of the school board, you really should, pay attention, because so many shenanigans going on there. It's not even
If
fun.
by shenanigans you mean corruption.
Yes, thank you. Corruption.
Secret word.
So much corruption going on there. It's not even funny. And Bianca is the founder of Teaching for the Culture. She is very much involved in keeping an eye on the school board and things that go on. And, as taxpayers, we should be very much interested in hearing what she has to say. So she'll be joining us in a little bit. First, I want to circle back to something we discussed briefly last week. Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson got confirmed to the Supreme Court. Shockingly, because I felt sure that Manchin and Sinema were going to throw a big wrench in it. It was pretty close. It was not a foregone conclusion at all. So Why don't you give me your thoughts on that, Amina?
I think that the numbers were there to confirm her, which is the reason we saw as much grandstanding and the attacks leveled at her as we did, because that's all they could do, the grandstanding.
It was horrific.
Yeah,
because this woman
was.
is probably the most qualified
She is.
person who's ever even been nominated to the Supreme Court, and just the ridiculous mental gymnastics that were going on in the mean,
Absolutely.
So anyway, that I'm very excited about. And let's see, Bianca has joined us. Hi, Bianca.
Hello, good morning, y'all.
How you doing?
I am so blessed. How are y'all doing?
Oh, we're doing fine. We've been talking about Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, and so but I have given like a little teaser that you're coming to spill the school board tea. So spill away. I still need to get you one like a tea kettle whistle, like whoo, yeah, tea time with Bianca.
It's so sad to just really see the state of public education. If the people that are listening and the people that will listen later, I am telling you that this is an emergency, that you need to pay attention to what is happening to your local school boards across the nation. This district in particular is the third largest in the state of Florida and the seventh largest in the United States of America. So the impact that this district has, not only on the country, but in this state, is very large. And I need folks to be intentional. So if you have any questions for me, I know you've probably seen a bunch of stuff that I posted on social media just with everything happening, but shoot your shot. And if there's any callers that have any questions while I'm here, I'll take those too.
Awesome. So tell us, we're looking at another proposed tax increase. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, the district is at a very severe financial situation. I first want to just say thank you to school board member Jessica Vaughn and school board member Karen Perez. They had a school board workshop on Tuesday morning where they actually discussed this in detail. Addison Davis presented a presentation, which is public and accessible on the school board's website if you desire to read it. And it is a proposal to charge the taxpayers more money due to their financial shortfalls. And I want to be very clear on this, that although the state of Florida is underfunding education, there are some serious issues with the financials in Hillsborough County Public Schools that makes this situation worse. And so it is very important that people are paying attention, because this is going to impact your money at the end of the day when they are going out to get your vote and pay for a campaign for it to be on the ballot in August.
So we can't manage the money, but we want you taxpayers to pony up more money so we can mismanage that money too.
That is, sounds like it to me.
Bianca, last year there was, you had put up receipts and exposed the kind of, I guess, cronyism going on in school board salaries and the people they hired. And was anything ever done about that?
No.
Okay.
I have made calls for people to be held accountable, and there is a group of coalition. With Teaching for the Culture, we have a group of what I call surveillance cameras, and these are people that actually work inside and around the district in their capacities that are providing these receipts so that there can be public light and transparency about what's happening in our schools. We have made calls for certain leaders who have been in leadership positions with the district for years, and we are making calls to have a productivity analysis conducted on some of those employees that have been collecting taxpayer dollars because they work for this system and have not been intentional with their position, so much so that we are facing one of the largest financial obstacles that a Florida school district has ever had to deal with.
And the financial obstacle is meaning that they can't afford to run the school district.
That is correct.
Okay.
It is not sustainable.
Okay.
They can afford to buy a fleet of police cars for
Brand-
the
brand-
in school officers who shouldn't be going anywhere, but they can't afford to pay salaries and they can't afford to buy supplies.
Yeah. And we have teachers that are leaving and support staff that are leaving because they are feeling so burnt out. They are feeling so defeated. And then currently right now, they don't even have a teacher's contract that's approved. School is almost over.
Yeah.
And so please pray for our educators, our support staff that is particularly working in this district, because not only is this a financial obstacle for the taxpayers, but the educators and the people that are on the front lines working to support our children are also faced with a financial hardship as well.
Do you think that this mismanagement is intentional? Like they're trying to destroy public education in order to move it to a privatized model?
So I think that the Florida legislators have made it very clear what they want to prioritize when it comes to education. And there have been a lot of unfunded mandates that have made it difficult for school districts to sustain. So when it comes to the representatives that y'all vote for, I say yes, we have to be intentional with that. The people who work in the actual school sites, it depends on the person. There are people that are working to make the school district better. But unfortunately, when you have a corporation that is filled with nepotism, corruption, retaliation, this doesn't breed a very successful and productive work environment. And therefore, we are having issues where there are some people that are running the finances that do not have any type of certifiable financial background. These are public records, folks.
Yeah. And I mean, we're not talking about, managing one or two schools. It's the entire district, which is one of the largest in the United States. And to have
That is correct.
unqualified people running the finances, what kind of sense does that make?
It doesn't. And so this is why we constantly make calls for the district to be accountable, to be transparent, to operate with integrity, because our children deserve better at the end of the day. But let's look at the results of Hillsborough County Public Schools. I want to uplift this and make sure people understand this. That Hillsborough County Public Schools has 27 D schools and 7 F schools.
Wow.
Hillsborough County Public Schools has the highest number of underperforming schools in the state.
Wow.
Due to their underperformance, there are unfunded mandates that allow charter schools to come in to take over areas so that they can, quote unquote, improve the school.
See,
Then also have corporations that have these consultants that have to come in to say that they're going to help our children, but we are seeing the results that they're not fruitful, yet money is being spent. All of these play into the dismantling of public education. So when we constantly have the arguments about charter school, we have to make sure that we are intentional with our words. Charter schools are awesome. Some of them, if they are intentional with the development of our children. But the ones that are owned by corporations, where it is just a cash cow and a cash grab, and they don't care about the actual performance of our students, those institutions need to be shut down because it's not for the benefit of our children.
right.
Bianca, would it be fair to say that that's like all for-profit charter schools? Or is that
So-
too broad of a generalization?
It's too broad, because I know some for-profit schools where they have the actual good leadership that cares about the students, and they are running a thriving school. But there's also people that hire anybody who don't do background checks. I mean, we are seeing how many people are in our schools that are harming children,
That's true.
have been documented to harm children in the past, and still had access to our children after the fact.
Jeez.
So when we talk
Yeah.
about parental rights, and we talk about people being intentional with our children and what they watch and what they read and all that stuff, we have to keep the same energy across the board and not have selective outrage and selective participation when we talk about the oversight of our children.
Right. I've got an email from one of our listeners. It says, "Hi, ladies. Great show today. What does your guest think about Step Up for Student Scholarship? I think that Step Up has offered a lot of great school choice options for parents trying to get their kids out of crappy public schools. And Step Up has growing support from Black and Hispanic families." David. Thank you, David, for the question.
Thank you, David. One of the community partners with Teaching for the Culture actually works with Step Up for Students. I don't have anything negative to say. All I would say is that with every system, we just have to make sure that we're intentional and that we follow the 3 keys. That's accountability, transparency, and integrity. So I thank these organizations for bridging the gap and doing the work that they do. But all these systems have to work with fidelity and intention to really help our kids so that we can be better and be better humans, especially for our children.
And you know, the more I think about it and the more I hear you talk, Bianca, I really do think that a lot of this is intentional to destroy the public school structure and convert it over to a commercial model. And like the school board, God bless the school board members. Gosh, I see some of the things that are posted on the school board members' websites, and it's like, where did you people come from, and why are you so mean and nasty? Gosh.
Well, I feel like it's some of them are in on it. The school board members, like they also have a vested interest in upholding some of this shady behavior.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Absolutely. Amina, to your point, when we had the discussion about masking our children or not during COVID, you had school board members that were in private, secret Facebook groups having conversations with their constituents. That's what's happening.
Wow.
We also have where school board members are trying to do the best that they can, but you have that this is so politicized that people are coming from all different types of angles with all type of language and accusations saying that they're advocating for children, but their actions are not aligned with that. I just don't understand the ideology some folks hold where they are so emboldened to say whatever they want to say on social media and not have any type of thought or feeling that, this is a real human that is reading this and might feel a way based on my words.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's it's infuriating to me that the legislature, instead of passing measures that will actually improve public education, are focusing on these non-issues like the anti-woke bill, the don't say gay bill. It's ridiculous. These folks do not care about the children. It's just about pushing an agenda.
Yeah, I was in Tallahassee when some of these problematic bills were being pushed through. And I'm always people lie, receipts don't. These representatives that were talking about some of these bills did not know the vocabulary of the words that they were repeating and saying that the bill says. That's a problem.
Yes.
I literally have a video on Twitter where a state representative was handed a cell phone with the dictionary so that they can answer another representative question.
Oh, wow.
I saw that. I saw that.
So they wrote.
Wow. I've got another question for you.
This one is funny. Do you want to read it?
You go ahead.
Okay. What does your guest think about Addison Davis contracting with his brother's education company? Very sketchy. He's not Addison, he's Subtractison.
So I want to clear this up because I hear this very often, and I want to make sure that narratives are there. So they're referencing Achieve 3000. His brother Mason does not own any stake at Achieve 3000. He was an employee. Based on public records that we were able to obtain and from screenshots that I was able to obtain directly from Superintendent Addison Davis, Mason, his brother, does not work for the department that would oversee the contract for Achieve 3000. Achieve 3000 was already used in certain schools already. This contract was put into place to make it more accessible in more schools. Do I agree that we should have more IT type of software to basically police children and what they do and what they click on? No. Our studies show that students learn best by actually reading and doing phonics and not being behind a computer screen doing that. So I just want to clear that up. Just, make sure that the record is clear and that the receipts line up, that the brother don't own it, but he was an employee, and from the records, he had nothing to do with the bridging of that contract. But still sketchy nonetheless how it was presented because, again, there are policies for disclosure, and the disclosure did not happen.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and it's like, who's to say the brother doesn't know somebody who's in the department that makes the decision? So,
yeah,
that's the old boys club, how it works,
Mm-hmm.
It's not what you know, it's who you know.
We have one more email. She wants to know what she can do to help. It says, great show. Thank you for bringing this information to light. I live in Pinellas County and am a retired educator from Washington State. I'm so discouraged about the situation in the state with regards to education. What can I do to help? Rhonda.
Well, Rhonda, first, thank you for your service. And I just want to just tell everyone what you can do to help. You have a gift to help children in what capacity you can do, whether that is mentoring children, whether that is volunteering at school sites, whether that's even checking your child's cell phone in their backpack to make sure that they're doing their homework, to make sure you're having conversations with your teachers so you know who's actually teaching your child and what they're learning. There are so much that we can do, but it takes all of us as a village to do that. Unfortunately, what I'm seeing is that there is a profit in the problem. And until we address that, we can't really move forward. There is profit in the failure, in the breakdown of education. Look at the school-to-prison pipeline and how much money that generates the state and how much they're able to capitalize off of free labor based on people being in bondage. All of this stuff adds up. So please be involved with local politics. Make sure that you vote intentionally down the ballot. Know when it's time to vote. And get other people involved. And love and support our children and protect them at all costs. Because I'm telling you, the headlines that are coming out day in and day out is scary. How there are so many people that are preying on our children. Mm-hmm. So please pray and uplift them. And let's just try to make this world a better place by each of us being a good human.
Bianca Goolsby with Teaching for the Culture. You can find her on Facebook at Teaching for the Culture. She's always posting up-to-date receipts and videos and all kinds of information about the school district. Let me switch gears on you, Bianca. What do you think now that Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson has been confirmed?
She was there. I forgot.
Thanks for the spoiler,
Oh, I'm
Amina.
sorry. You didn't. You knew.
I knew.
Bianca, I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
I had an opportunity of a lifetime. My wife and I were invited by the White House to attend this event. My wife ended up connecting with local officials, and even statewide officials, and they had their own section. But I actually had the first seat in the first row on the right-hand side of the stage.
Ooh.
Michelle had to use my pictures because I had a better vantage point because I was literally in the front row. To see the diversity that was on the lawn at the White House was beautiful to see. It was so nice to see people smiling and saying hi. In KBJ's speech, you felt the spirit moving. We cried. We laughed. We cheered. This is a big moment in history because representation matters, but not only that, KBJ went through so much in these confirmation hearings, in the Senate. She went through so much of the allegations and the accusations and just painting her and misaligning her character with people that, quite frankly, she was more qualified than them.
Right.
So I just say that it really sparked hope for me. And that's why I still have I still feel in my heart that we can do better in America. We can. But we have to make the intentional choice to do that.
Amen.
So it was very beautiful to see. I can't wait to really write out my journey and the story, because to get there and to actually have this experience is a lifetime experience, and even the obstacles that I personally have been dealing with leading up to that moment makes all of this special to me.
That's
So-
beautiful.
Awesome. Yeah, we are so excited about KBJ. And I can't even imagine how, as a black woman in America, you feel about KBJ, but I figured you were really stoked about it. And then Amina gave away the
You know
surprise.
what? I'm having like a senior moment. Okay, I didn't know that was what was happening. I thought I was just helping.
It was so beautiful. So I will definitely text you some pictures so that you can see it up close and impersonal. To be there was very surreal, and it just gives me hope that we can be better humans, that we can do better, that we can actually have justice, that we can have equity, that people can actually live a free and sustainable life, that they can be free and fulfilled, and that we can be as human and as one and not have all of these culture wars and the division. And social media plays a big part into that. And I hope people recognize it for what it is. And that's why I advocate so hard for these parents to check these cell phones. Because if you only imagine the messages that I get day in and day out about what's happening in our classrooms due to these cell phones, it's, again, something else that's alarming. And it needs folks' attention immediately.
All right. Thank you so much for spending some time with us and spilling the tea this morning, Bianca. We always love having you on. And for anybody who's interested in Bianca's work, which has been picked up all around the state, you're like traveling to different counties to show them how to keep a watch on their school boards now, right?
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Teaching for the Culture, and any websites you want to shout out and get some traction on?
Absolutely. You can go to teachingfortheculture.com to see our organization and what we do. And if you want to follow my journey personally, you can follow that at BiancaGoolsby.com.
All right. Thank you so much, Bianca. You want to hang around,
Thank
or
you
do you
so
want us to
much.
let you go? Because we're fixing to switch gears again.
Go ahead and switch gears. I'm going to get back into the fight. I appreciate y'all so much, and I will talk to y'all soon.
All
too,
right.
Bianca.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right.
Bye-bye. All right. Now, let's see. There's a text message I saw that I wanted to answer.
I ignored that one.
No, let's read it because I want to talk about this. Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
All right. So this text message says, while I certainly agree that Judge Jackson is qualified, stating that she is probably the, quote, most qualified of all time, unquote, is hyperbole that you accuse her detractors of doing. What makes you qualified to make such a statement? Well, I'm an attorney in the United States. I have appeared before judges throughout the state of Florida and Georgia. That gives me an idea about the legal system that the average layperson walking around doesn't have. And I don't think it's hyperbole at all.
Right.
If you look at her credentials, she is the first public defender who has become a member of the Supreme Court. And that's important because while there have in the past been prosecutors, this is the first person who's coming to the court who's actually defended people's rights to liberty and made sure that they weren't imprisoned. A lot of people they really don't have. In other words, if you look at public defenders as a whole, I know a lot of people who were former public defenders, all excellent attorneys, and yet they get this bad reputation for being like discount lawyers or something like that. And so it's really important for a justice perspective to have a former defender on the court. That's only one of the things that sets her apart. She was a law clerk at the Supreme Court. Lots of Supreme Court justices have been. She's also served on the Sentencing Commission. She's been a judge, and I can name a judge right now who does not have the qualifications she does in any regard. He was, I can name several of them, but Clarence Thomas comes straight to mind because he didn't have any legal experience. He didn't have any judicial experience to speak of. And so it's like, okay, this woman has credentials that are untouchable, unquestionable. She graduated magna cum laude from Harvard, first the university and then the law school, and she was editor of the Harvard Law Review, which is that's something you have to work for and earn. Nobody gives you those things. And so,
And Liz, she's been confirmed by the Senate 3 times.
Three
for
times.
Previous positions. Like, as far as her compared to the sitting justices go, she is the most qualified. That
Absolutely.
goes without saying. So
Yeah.
I think it's a safe assumption to make that, to say that she's more qualified than anyone previously nominated, because clearly they didn't make it.
right.
So I don't understand how that could be a stretch.
And even Ruth Bader Ginsburg, rest her soul, she didn't have practical experience as an attorney because in her time, a woman couldn't really get a job and go to court and argue things. So her side was on academia. But that's why I say she's the most qualified. Her experience, her education experience, speak for themselves. Sterling reputation. Nobody has anything bad to say about her. She breezed through her 3 prior confirmations. And so there we are. That is why I say it, and I don't think it's hyperbole. I think it's pretty accurate. So, but thank you for the question. And Amina, what do you think about Judge KBJ? That's what I'm going to call her now because it's just too KBJ.
I think she has worked her butt off and definitely deserves to be where she's at.
Absolutely.
If not more. I think this is someone who it should have been a no-brainer to confirm her. And I'm happy that this was the turnout. I'm very satisfied. I feel like this is a step in the right direction, but only a step, right? We've got miles to go.
Well,
so.
and look at and so I'm reading the room here to see, and I'm seeing almost all the Republicans vote against her.
Yeah, I mean, some of them I think left the room.
Yeah.
When it was announced she was confirmed, other than Mitt Romney.
And one dude stuck his hand out of the coat room and did the no gesture, and it's like, okay, you're not even giving her the respect of downvoting her to her face.
But you know what? The reason they're doing, and the reason they basically feel justified is they're like, well, you gave Brett Kavanaugh a hard time, you gave Amy Coney Barrett a hard time, and these people,
for good reason.
I mean, these people deserved a hard time. Sorry, this is not a comparable situation.
No,
at all.
It's apples and oranges all the way.
Exactly.
All the way.
So for them to try and kind of level the playing field there in a sense to try and compare the two, I feel like it's just further tarnishing what KBJ was able to accomplish.
Yeah,
because it's not the same. This is ridiculous.
Well, and not only that, but I'm certainly the way they treated her was reprehensible, and there should be some rules in Senate judicial confirmation hearings.
Well, I don't know if I agree with that, because I think that there should be grilling like this to give a lifetime position, right? But
oh, sure, yeah. I'm not saying there shouldn't be grilling, but
Yeah.
these ridiculous little parlor tricks they were trying to prove.
I mean, them straight up racism. And
Yeah.
if you're gonna say, if you're gonna call it what it is, and then they're gonna deny it, you have to then label. You have to then agree that what's happening is what's happening, and it's them just doing dog whistle politics, these very these microaggressions, sometimes macroaggressions.
Right.
So it's ridiculous. I mean, we know what's happening, and they're going to continuously play dumb about it.
And I was not able to watch the entire process. So I'm sure if I go back and look at some of the things, I mean, I saw part of Lindsey Graham's questioning, and it just was disgusting to me. It's like, you know better than this. And there she is. I only heard about the Ted Cruz part. I didn't see it, but she and Ted Cruz were at Harvard together. So it's like, if anybody in that room knows how brilliant she is, Ted Cruz.
So, you know what? I look at these universities and I'm like, what is there a deal for every brilliant person you put out into the world? There has to be someone that's like.
Apparently, yeah, that's what's called the karmic balance.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I've seen too many. It's like Ivy League, okay, but Trump claims he was Ivy League. It's, I don't know. This stuff doesn't make sense to me, because how can the same education, right, produce these very different people? And you say what you will about higher education, but I think it is what you make of it.
Right. Let's talk to Clay in Land O'Lakes. Hi, Clay.
Greetings, ladies, and once again, it's a great honor to be on the most disrespectful show in the day.
Greetings, caller.
So, I want to say I agree with everything you said about Judge Jackson, and then she's the best appointment ever in my lifetime in court, in my mind. She is the most qualified person, and that's just looking at her record. It speaks for itself of her accomplishments, what she's done. And I love the fact that she was a public defender.
Yeah.
I think it's so important that we had someone like that on there. But, by the same token, we have someone on the Supreme Court. I think her name is Coney Barrett.
Amy,
yes.
Yeah.
I hear that she only experience she has from the inside of a courtroom is watching court TV. Is that about right?
Yes, I've heard she has no actual trial experience.
Right. It's, she watches court TV or L.A. Law or something like that, and that's about it. So the Republicans put on at least three I say 4, the most unqualified people in the world to be sitting a lifetime seat on the Supreme Court. I mean, they're ideologues.
Right.
Okay.
And look at Clarence. Oh my gosh, Clarence Thomas he should be stepping down right now. His wife, Jenny, is very much a Trump supporter and has actually raised money and actually attended
He's a QAnon person.
the insurrection attempt. And so there's been all kinds of shenanigans with emails and things like that. Oh, but her emails, yeah. So and yet nobody's really paying attention to that. It's like, don't look it over here, look over here. Yeah.
Okay,
So what
I got
wanted to say
the.
about,
Sorry,
go ahead.
I was just going to fact check us real quick, which I think we're right. But Barrett has never tried a case to verdict or argued an appeal in any court, nor has she ever performed any notable pro bono work.
Ooh.
So that's the extent of her trial experience.
Yeah.
Well,
And
then that says a lot right there.
sure does. And they didn't seem to care about that. But the other thing I wanted to say is the whole process, and I didn't get to watch the whole process. Everything I got came from, NPR and when one of the groups on WMNF, get my news from them, when they covered it. And the things that I've read in the paper and the magazines and stuff that I get, they should be embarrassed. I don't know how you cannot be embarrassed to be asking questions like that and acting that way in these hearings. There's really something mentally wrong with these people. There's something wrong inside their head. I mean, they're an embarrassment to the country as well as to themselves.
It's all about getting votes from the base. These people know better, which makes them even worse than people who don't know better. It's like you know better, but you're doing it on purpose.
Well, I'm sorry I missed Bianca. I didn't get to listen to the whole show, but there was something I wanted to say about that. The problem with what we're doing with charter schools and all that stuff, first off, they're doing everything they can to intentionally run our public schools into the ground, to make charter schools seem like a favorable option. And one of the statistics I think that you should look at, and I haven't seen them lately, but you have more failed charter schools than you have successful. I think almost 3/4 of the charter schools all fail.
That's a good idea. We're going to look into that, Clay.
They're a terrible bane on us, and they aren't held to the same standards as what the public schools are, and they aren't required to do the same things. But the biggest thing is there is no profit in education, nor should there be. It's like a public service. It's one of those service things. It's like that we've. I guess a good comparison is how the Department of Children and Families has put all this stuff out to private contractors to do the work.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
listen, if we couldn't pay the people that we were, as a state, employing to do it, and they couldn't handle the job, not because they weren't good at it, but because they were understaffed, underpaid, and all that kind of stuff, where do these people find a profit in it, except for not to do as good a job as that?
Right.
They have to cut corners. And it's the same thing in education. If you're letting people make money off of it, it's one thing to be a private school, like parochial schools or whatever, but when you're taking state money and you're running these schools and you're finding profit in what is not sufficient funding to do it, because let's face it, Florida fails when you look at the statistic of how much we spend per capita on students. What are we, 44th or something like that, or even worse than that? We just don't invest in it at all, and then we're taking money from it, giving it to private individuals to put on a school that they're going to somehow make money out of that. Mm-hmm. It doesn't make any sense. We're doing all these things that just make no sense whatsoever at all.
Right. Well, thanks so much for calling, Clay.
All right, well, ladies, keep up the great work. Peace be upon you. Stay healthy and have a better new year.
Thank you.
you.
You
Bye,
too.
Clay.
Bye. Here is an email from David. It says, "Hi, ladies. Although I really like Jackson, I was really hoping for Michelle Childs, mostly because of her coming from public universities and, of course, because she graduated from USF. That would have been huge for USF to have an alumna become a Supreme Court justice. What do you think of the coward Republican senators who walked out of the room? Amber Ruffin did a funny segment on this called Where You Going? David." I need to look for that because that sounds like it's right up my alley. cowards is absolutely what I call them. You know, if you have the conviction and the cojones to vote a certain way, you need to sit your butt down and vote in the public space where everybody can see your face and your shame. Amina, what do you think?
I agree.
All
it.
right.
I do. It's harsh, but I agree.
It's ridiculous, yeah. Hi guys, love your show. Years from now, long after we are all gone, most of the judges will be people of color. Yes. Currently, racism is strong. Old racist white folks are scared and defensive. People like Lindsey Graham, 45, Mitch McConnell, etc. Unfortunately, they also hold a lot of power politically. Hopefully, karma and the Justice Department will take down 45 et al. I am Billy in Lakeland. The truth will set us all free eventually. Thanks so much for your text message.
I feel like after the number of Republicans have done on our justice system, I think I'd rely on karma more here.
I know, because, accountability seems in short supply. Mm-hmm. So thank you very much for the text, Billy. And then you can tell I have my glasses today, huh? Because I can read like it's no big deal. We have a remake. We need a remake of this song. My last name is Control. No, my first name ain't Baby. It's Ketanji. Justice Jackson, if you're nasty. Yeah, Bubba. You're too young to remember that song, Amina. It's from Janet Jackson.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I maybe I know one or two songs. I wouldn't be able to say.
Back
I'm a
in
fan.
the 80s, she was slamming the hits out.
I remember.
Left and right. Yeah. Okay, let's talk to Jack in Dover. Hi, Jack.
Hi, ladies. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Very good. And thank you so much for this excellent show. I had no idea of all of the qualifications for Miss Jackson, but it just makes me so much prouder to hear you all, give her such kudos.
Thank you.
Awesome. You're welcome. I just wanted to make a quick comment. I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, and when the schools started to fill there, they started a program where kids had an option to go to a tech school where they could learn, auto mechanics and painting, body shop. It just seems like here in Florida, they've got all these welders and, these guys make really good money. Why doesn't somebody start a technical school where kids, can learn a trade like welding and fabrication, metal fabrication and stuff like that?
Right. And there are tech programs. There's a big one that the Satan was at one day. It's over on Hills Row somewhere, I think.
Yeah, but just take the charter schools and just add that to these failing charter schools. I've seen girls, Habitats for Humanities get out there and pound the hammer.
Oh, yeah.
They seem to enjoy building houses. They're really good at it.
Right.
Do electrical work and all kinds of stuff. So, maybe sometimes school just isn't everybody's thing. The pencil and paper just kind of trapped.
Right. Well, I know from personal experience, my son was never a scholar. He didn't graduate high school, and he's a plumber, and he makes gazillions of dollars. So that is hyperbole, by the way.
Especially the ones that go underground, the ones that go down into the sewers and stuff. Those guys make good money.
Yeah. So, yeah.
But I would never do it. You could never. I'm claustrophobic. I could.
Exactly.
You can't get me to take a CAT scan, let alone get me down in underground in a pipe. There's no way I'm going down there. So I'm glad he gets the big bucks.
I like that.
Thank you so much for the call, Jack.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye. Yeah, it is important to because not everybody is on a college track, No,
I think that there's definitely or hasn't been enough of an emphasis on other options, especially in high school when you think what you have to do is go to a university and get your bachelor's, and then you end up in incredible debt, and no job,
right?
Depending on what field you went into. But I think it's something that everyone's waking up to. There has been a trend towards learning a skill. Even people who've gotten work experience realize that work experience, what they really looked for was the skill you have. Mm-hmm. And for example, there's a lot of people that can even finish a 10-month boot camp for web design, and they'll find a job right out of it.
Right.
So would you rather do that or go to college for 4 years attempting to do a similar thing?
And not have as good a time because you can after 10 months you start making money, you're living life, and a lot of people don't think there are some special programs to teach women construction trades. Oh, we should get somebody from the National Association of Women in Construction.
That would be cool.
I know some folks there. I used to be a NAWICan, so I did construction law, so I was part of the group. But yeah, we can get some female contractors and other trade. Oh, I know a plumber too. Yeah. Women in construction trades, that's a huge way for them to make money, and they're not really offered that option as much as you might think.
We have an email from Kelly in, I believe, Pinellas. She says, FYI, Magnet School in Pinellas has Jacobson Tech High in Seminole, vet science, nursing, electric, welding and construction, marine mechanics, and coding. Vet and nursing leave with vet tech certification and CNA or LPN.
Awesome.
That is great.
Yeah. So, yeah. And so an LPN, I started as an LPN once upon a time. I went to a trade school while I was in high school. And so by the time I finished high school, I also finished nursing school like the next month. And I worked as an LPN for years and years before I got my college degree. And then eventually went to law school. So
I love that. If I could get a certificate now or something, I would do it in carpentry.
Yes.
I watch my dad. My dad makes furniture, and I watch him do it all the time. But he's just using what he learned growing up in Bosnia and here. He's never been certified to do that. However, he can make some incredible furniture. So I think it's an amazing skill to have.
I grew up with tradespeople. Some of my cousins were carpenters, and none of them ever got taught how to do it. It was always learning on the job. And one of my cousins he wouldn't use rulers. He would use it was like the most fabricated thing ever, but everything always came out all right. And so it was, whenever I'm using a non-traditional method of measuring something, I'd say that I'm doing it like him.
Life hack.
Right, life hack.
We got a caller, but I don't think they have about a minute.
Ooh, it's going to be a lightning round. Yeah. But yes, tech schools are absolutely a viable alternative to higher education, and no shame in that game at all. I would love to learn how to weld, because if you know how to weld, you can become like an artist. If you've ever looked,
yes. They're all over the place.
Yes, there's this place in Seminole Heights that does welding sculptures.
Whoa.
And so, yeah, it's really cool. Let's see. Let's talk to Ken. Hi, Ken in Tampa.
Hey, good morning.
Hi. We don't have but a minute, so hurry.
Okay, I'll be brief if you just listen. There is known in some Hillsborough County High School MC3 program, which is pre-apprenticeship programs that students can take in high school, and then upon graduation from high school, go right into an apprenticeship program. There is the Florida Gulf Coast Building and Construction Trades Council, which are union apprenticeship programs that they're no cost to the student, and they can get to work right away.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for calling, Ken. Bye-bye. We got to go. We're out of time. Sorry. Thank you so much for listening to Surly Voices on WMNF Tampa 88.5. Join us next week on Thursday at 10 o'clock.
I like diamonds, I like stunning, I like shining, I like $1 million deals. Where's my pen? I'm signing. I like those Balenciagas, the ones that look like socks. I like going to the Tula, I put rocks all in my watch. I like texts from my exes when they want a second chance. I like proving wrong, I do what
school.